Donald Trump has cozied up to socialists and communists and been friendly with them and said he's had a great relationship with them, from North Korea to Russia to China, which is a little bit confusing to me because according to conservatives and Republicans, these are things we don't like. Well, they don't like. The man has been accused of more sexual crimes than I lost count, to tell you the truth. He said that it was okay for him to walk into teenagers' dressing rooms while they were changing. These are girls. It's a pageant he owned. Into teenage girls' dressing rooms while they're changing. The man said that the thing he had in common with his daughter was sex. He settled a lawsuit which accused him of raping a 13-year-old girl. And then he wishes well to a sex trafficker. I won't even say her name. You all know who she is. Who's been accused of doing the most horrific things. The man has run every business he's ever owned into the ground. I won't blame him for the coronavirus, but I will blame him for the response. And America has just become one more of those businesses that he's run into the ground. At one point, we had 50 million unemployed. 5 million plus infected, and at this point, 170,000 dead because of the coronavirus. And your president still sits back, calls it a hoax, it'll go away. I'm not really sure what the appeal to Donald Trump is. I really don't get it. But I made this video because I'd like to give anyone out there the opportunity to tell me why I should vote for Trump. Now, I did have a few conversations online with people through Twitter and stuff like that. And one guy was very interesting because he said the reason he was voting for Trump was because of the economy and the military. So let's look at that for a second. First, let's start with the military. Does anyone out there really believe that the military, under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, that our military and our troops around the world had no equipment and no ammunition? We spend more on our military than the next, 26 countries combined? And I think 25 of them are like our allies. So I'm not sure what weak military he brought back, because it's been that way for the past 40, 50 years. So I'm not sure what he was talking about, strong military. But let's move on to the economy. The economy, it's always a big selling point. I'm not sure why politicians take credit for the economy, but let's look at it. Donald Trump always likes to tout the stock market. Well, the stock market's not a sign of a strong of a strong economy. It's not a sign of a strong economy. What it does is it tells us where money is being spent and what millionaires and billionaires are making even more money. That's all the stock market does. The reason your 401k is tied into the stock market is so that you care about the stock market. If you don't have your own personal money in the stock market, you really shouldn't care about the stock market. Despite what you want to believe, your 401k does not belong to you. Not until you retire. But let's move on from that. Let's move on to the unemployment rate. Again, something politicians take credit, and this is for Democrats and Republicans. A low unemployment rate is a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing, because what a low unemployment rate means is that more people have to work 2 and 3 jobs. That's why it's low. It's also not a bad thing if the unemployment rate is high. See, here's what people don't seem to understand. If you have a strong economy, what you have is people who can afford to live. That means that they can pay off their bills and still have money left over to do whatever they want. Invest, buy some luxury item, go on a trip, whatever it is. And a really strong economy is when you can do this, when a household only needs one income. That means that both parents don't have to go to work, and the babysitter doesn't need to hire a babysitter, and that babysitter needs to hire a babysitter. I think you get where I'm going. So that's a good reason of why the unemployment rate could be high. Let's move on to job creations, because this one really kills me. Because this one confuses the hell out of me. Because I'm always being told and heard that the government can't tell the private sector what to do. And yet they kind of do tell the private sector what to do. And not only that, they take credit for what the private sector is doing. Now, don't get me wrong, the government can create jobs, but it can create government jobs. The only thing the government can really do with the economy is pump money into the system. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm not really sure how they take credit for low gas prices, but when the gas prices, if you remember, was like $5 a gallon, nobody wanted to take credit for that. So the job creation thing, that's really not a government accomplishment. That's more of a you accomplishment. People go and they start up businesses and they need employees to work. Employee relations, that's a different video I did. Go check that one out. So I'm not really sure what Donald Trump is running on, is the point of this video. Like, I'm not sure exactly what Trump supporters are supporting. I mean, maybe you can let me in on what I'm not seeing. And, maybe you'll teach me something. Maybe you won't. But I'm just really curious as to what exactly are you supporting? Divide? Racism? Financial ruin, incompetency? Like I said, I don't blame him for the coronavirus, but the response was horrible. And speaking of that, why the hell are you people taking advice, medical advice, from Donald Trump and not the doctors who've been doing this their entire life? Do you go to your dentist and ask him for car repair advice? I'm not understanding these things. I mean, going to Trump for medical advice is like going to a homeless person for real estate advice or how to make money. All right, that last part was a little mean. But I think you get the picture. So, like the title of this video says, tell me why. Why should I vote for Trump?